Okay, guys, I ordered a set of running boards from Camper Boreal camper vans, and I'm going to try installing them today, or at least get started. So this is the passenger side camper van, and it extends from the bottom of the passenger side door about, I would say, halfway or so along the main opening of the van, and it is installed with riv nuts. So if you don't not familiar with riv nuts, and it involves a riveter. It's almost like a giant industrial pop riveter, and then you install one of these little inserts, and it's a threaded insert like that, and that riveter crushes this so that it grabs onto the metal and you have a nice threaded insert. And so I know nothing about this. I've never installed a running board, and I haven't really looked up any instructions. I'm just going to try to figure it out on my own. I've done some work with riv nuts on my van already, so okay, let's see where this goes. That is going to sit right in there. Okay, that's pretty tight. Well, on one side anyways. Okay, I can see that I'll have good spot to bolt here. There's bolt holes up in there, and there's a good spot there. And at the back here too, another good spot. Okay, so wow, that was surprisingly easy. But what I will do is I'm just going to go out from underneath and just make sure everything lined up. I'm not missing anything obvious, because it seems suspiciously easy. Okay, well, that looks perfect there, and you know, perfect there too. I think I'll put a piece of plywood on top of my jack just to make sure it's held in place tight. I'll get my Sharpie marker here, and I will attempt to mark this. So this was my big mistake. I marked the spots, and when I went to drill them later on, of course, the precision was lost, and it should have been precise. What I should have done was tried to drill those holes with the running board in place versus relying on a Sharpie marker. And this is just critical for lining up those riv nuts. It's the only way to do it. You'll see later on in this video that this mistake became obvious. And now for this one. Okay, that's tight. Okay, now it should be just a matter of drilling those out and putting the riv nuts in. I don't know how I'm going to put riv nuts in like that. Hopefully it'll fit. This beam is actually lower than this, so there should be enough room for my riv nut tool to go in here. I know there's enough room up there. Hey Siri, what size drill bit do I need for a 5/16 inch riv nut?
Do you want me to use...
Let's try to do this the right way.
For a 5-stroke 16-inch ribbon nut, you'll typically need a drill bit slightly larger than the nut's inner diameter to allow for easy insertion. A 3-stroke 8-inch drill bit is generally recommended, but it's best to check the specific manufacturer's guidelines for precise sizing. That was from ChatGPT. Check important info for mistakes.
Now here's a good kit. This looks like the right size, but it might be a little too small. Let's try. Too tight. Just barely. Bingo. Perfect fit for a 5/16 inch riv nut, and it is seven sixteenths inch drill bit, and that is 7/16. So 7/16 inch drill bit for a 5/16 inch riv nut. Yeah, I'm not sure how I can get that riv nut device in there. Very important to wear safety goggles when you're doing this. That's a lot of metal filings. I think my battery's gone. Okay. Time for a new battery. Okay, there's my holes drilled. Oh no, I'm missing the middle ones here. And I will drill these out a little tiny bit bigger for a self-trapping screw. Well, I'll leave it for now. No, I'll drill it a little bigger. Okay guys, so I'm using a Trim-Clad Rust Revive and Protect Primer. Inhibits rust, extra protection for iron and steel, long-lasting, excellent bonding, oil-based. You know, you can't go wrong with Trim-Clad. And there it is en français. Trim-Clad Peinture anti-rouille. I probably pronounced it wrong. Après. Sharp. Here we go. There we go. No harm in spraying a little extra. So that has to dry for a while. You know, probably overnight, but I'll see. I'll check it out later on. Okay, it's been a few hours of drying. That's probably enough. I'm impatient, so I'm going to go for it. And in the meantime, while I was under there, there's a bit of rust under the van, and I have this needle scaler. It's an air power tool to chip off surface rust, and then I spray it with this rust converter, and once that's dry I will spray it with that Trim-Clad primer, and that's just to you know, to stop the advancement of any rust. There's not much there, but I might as well do it while I'm under. And you know, a lot of this, I've got some uncertainty with this because I just don't have any experience with this van, or even riv nutting is new to me, and this is all new. So it's a learning process. We're learning here together. Okay, I put the next riv nut on. Okay. That feels right. And it looks right, and I'm going to have a look now on the top side to see like if it pinched underneath that plastic, or did it actually pinch the plastic itself. If it pinched the plastic itself, I have to redo them. No, it looks great. That's perfect. That looks good. So it didn't pinch the plastic, and those riv nuts are in a good spot. So that's great. Onward to the next ones. And again, it has the rubberized undercoating, so I'm going to scrape that away. Okay, I'm quite pleased that the way these riv nuts are going is that this metal is angled up, but the riv nuts are going parallel or perpendicular to the ground here. So that's great. That'll make the bolts go in straight, and that's good news. So that's good. Okay. So here's the last riv nut, and you know, they all went in pretty smoothly. Pretty smoothly. Okay, there's the first bolt. That's actually lined up quite nicely. Plus nuts aren't lined up quite right. Is that going to be a problem? I don't know. Okay, that bolt is in finger tight. I'm just looking up here, and you can see the second plus nut. I don't know if you can see that. It's not aligned correctly. So I don't know what to do about that. I mean, would it be okay just to have these two screws in there? I don't know. I have to think about that. Okay, let's try the middle one here. See how this goes. Okay, there's number 2 finger tight. And I think I'll put thread locker on each of these going forward here. So that's my experience as a rank amateur trying to install this running board. And as you can see, I made a mistake. The big mistake was taking the running board down, you know, after marking those holes with a Sharpie versus drilling the holes with the running board in place. I think my alignment of the running board isn't ideal either. It could probably move, you know, forward or backward a tiny bit. Not much. There's not much room to go. And I would use I have a pneumatic riv nut gun that takes up less space, so I can get into the tight spots and make sure the riv nuts are lined up a little better. So I have been using this running board, and it is as solid as can be. However, in the spring, I'm going to drill holes wherever I have missed a bolt, and I think there are only 3 bolts missing in the whole installation. It's probably solid and strong enough, but I'm still going to drill extra holes and install riv nuts to make up for those missing bolts, just to be 110% sure that this is good and solid and sturdy, and it'll last in the long term. So this is a real world experience, and I hope you learned something from it. I sure did. And everything about working on the van is a fun learning experience. So thanks for following along, and good luck with your van.